Welcome to the next episode of the Sitcom Archive Deep Dive Overdrive, or SADDO for short. My name's Alison Barton-Simmons.
Marlene. I'm ex-Benedict.
And we are about to deep dive Series 2, Episode 5 of Fawlty Towers.
The anniversary, isn't it?
It is. Lots of frenetic running up and down stairs again.
It is. But before we get stuck into this, we're gonna try something a little bit different this week. We thought we'd try some sort of new quiz format that we've not done before. And because I've been a little bit jealous of you getting your Les trousers on in the past, your Les Dawson trousers, I thought I'd put my own Les trousers on today. I put my Les Dennis trousers on instead of. Oh my
God, not separate Les altogether. Oh wow.
I couldn't fit into Leslie Crowther's trousers. They'd shrunk in all the gin that's been spilled on them over the years. So, yes, we're going to have a crack at a Family Fortune style game.
That's exciting.
And to help us out, we've actually got a guest who's joining us, one of the SADDOs from our Facebook group. Hi, Brian. How are you?
Hello, I'm all right.
Excellent.
Good. What's your name and where'd you come? Oh, now I've gone all Scylla, haven't I?
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise.
What's your favourite sitcom, Brian?
My favourite sitcom is probably Watching.
Watching?
Ooh, that was one of my tips for the third series. I'd like to do Watching.
Yeah, the only thing I can imagine we're doing a deep dive on it is it 7 or 9 series? It's long, isn't it?
Oh, is it that long?
Really? Is it that long?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not then.
That would be the only thing that'll put it off. So you're probably Watching. After that would probably Fawltys or Reginald Perrin.
Yeah.
We hear a lot of Reginald Perrin suggestions, so that
very popular.
That may well make the short list, which will, as we say every week, we'll put that out to the vote to email subscribers and members of the Facebook group.
I've recently been rewatching Robin's Nest, which hasn't aged as well as I thought it would do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's been so long since I ever saw that. Remind me who's in that, sorry.
Oh, I'm so terrible at the names. I'm really terrible at names of actors. I can picture
his face.
Yeah. It was a Man About the House spin-off, wasn't it? Yeah. I loved it when I was a child, but looking at it now, it's not aged well.
Well, you should steer clear of that one then, but maybe Watching will take us through to the year 2025 by the sounds of things. Yeah. And you'll run out of things to say about Lisa Tarbuck's wardrobe. Oh.
Yeah, just bright.
Okay, so we're going to try this Family Fortunes thing. I've got to try and remember how the theme tune to Family Fortunes goes. I keep getting Brucey's one in my head.
I know, that's my fault. Sorry. I've confused you.
Yeah. Well, no, that's Brucey, isn't it?
No, that's what I was singing before.
Shit. Oh. Yeah. Welcome to Family Fortunes.
Yay!
That wasn't a clumsy link at all, was it, Brian? So let me explain briefly how I've gone about putting this together. Family Fortunes, as everyone knows, is based on a sort of we asked 100 people format for answers to a question. So because I don't know 100 people, because I'm an antisocial bastard, what I did instead was I went on Facebook groups and created polls and asked people to add their own answer to the poll or vote for one of the answers in the poll to signify their response. And then because there was often more than 100 responses, I just took the most popular votes from the top down and took those answers. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know if that's how they did it, because they always had 100 answers, didn't they? I mean, imagine if you asked 100 people a specific question, you'd probably get like 50 answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have to contact Les and ask him directly. So how does Family Fortunes work? Yes, I suppose it's more like individual fortunes because there's only one each of you.
Okay.
You can't be conferring with your family, can you?
No.
Because it's just you.
It's like a one-on-one, isn't it?
Okay. The way it works is I will invite you both up to the mythical virtual podium.
Okay.
I'll pose the question, and whoever buzzes in first gets to answer first. And if it's right, they get control of the game. So are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's hear your different squeakers.
Okay. Mine is this. That's mine.
That's yours.
Yep.
And Brian?
Fab.
Okay. So fingers on buzzers, stroke spoon against glass. You're so middle class, Al, with your spoon against
I've
your glass.
hunted all over for some kind of squeaker. With no pets, though. My hamster doesn't have a squeaker, so I'm all right here, though.
Okay. We asked 100 randos on the internet to name a catchphrase from a British sitcom. Oh, just ahead of Brian there, Al. Go on.
I'm free.
I'm free. Top answer.
No.
Well done. Yeah, top answer. I'm free. So you've got control of the board. You can choose to play or pass it on to Brian to play. And if he gets them all wrong, then you win the round.
I'm gonna play, if that's okay.
You're gonna play. They always do.
Yeah.
I don't know why Les even bothers asking. Okay.
I'm gonna play.
All right. Okay. So you get 3 strikes, and I will superimpose the noise later.
Okay.
So that's the top answer. There was 23% of the people who answered said I'm free. So
okay.
That's the most top answer. There is another 9 answers.
Okay.
You can pick from.
So I've got to get 3 from the 9.
I've got to get them all.
I've got to get all 9.
Yeah, isn't that the way it works? I've not thought this through, have I?
It's okay, right? No, I'm gonna have a stab at it.
So another popular catchphrase from a British sitcom.
Ooh, Betty.
Really?
You're now on 1 strike. Yeah, it wasn't in there. It was actually really low down, so it didn't get included in the top 10 answers. Literally can't think of more than 2.
Literally can't think of any television I've ever watched ever. Is Marlene in there?
It isn't.
No.
So you've only got 1 strike left.
1 more left.
And you've got 8 to get.
Heidi, hi.
No.
Oh my God.
That was going to be mine.
Was it? Oh, well, you're fortunate that Al nicked it then. So you've got a spread of options to go for here, Brian, to steal this round. Just confer with your own mind, because you don't have a family present.
Rodney U. Plonker.
Ding. Yeah.
Well done, Brian. You've successfully stolen from Al. Rodney U. Plonker came in 5th place with 6% of the votes. When I read you this list, you'll be a little bit flabbergasted. I'll start from the bottom.
Okay.
Number 10 was Don't Panic, Mr. Mannering.
Oh,
of course.
I kept thinking Pike.
Yeah.
Don't tell him your name, Pike. All right, okay.
Number 9, we've got Oh Dear, How Sad, Never Mind, Windsor Davies. Ain't half hot mum.
Right.
Number 8, I Don't Believe It.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. Obvious one, really, when you know it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what he loved, Ted? Number 7, I think. Oh, I hate you, Butler.
Right.
On the buses.
Yeah.
Number 6, bizarrely, You Are Awful, But I Like You, Dick Emery. I wouldn't have said that was a sitcom, would you?
I wouldn't have said it. No.
No, maybe I should have disallowed that one. Never mind. You Plonker, Rodney, number 5. Language, Timothy, number 4, with 8% of the votes. This time next year will be Millionaires, with 19% of the votes. And coming in second with 22% was Baldrick with I Have a Cunning Plan.
Okay. Well, that's a spread, isn't it?
It is. I think maybe I included too many options there, but the next one's not as bad. I've only got 1, 2, 3, 7 options in this one.
Oh, okay.
So you're both back in play, as Roy Walker used to say. You're back in play. Look at Mr. Chips there. I didn't tell you what prize you could win.
Oh my!
Oh.
In one. Fuck all. The only prize on offer is you get anytime anyone gets a right answer, I might eat one of my lovely Belgian chocolates.
That's fair. Good. Okay. Enjoy them.
You get the pleasure of seeing me eat Belgian chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yeah. Are you ready, Brian?
Yeah.
Al, you ready?
I am.
Spoon next to glass.
I've got my spoon ready.
We asked 100 randos on the internet to name a fictional sitcom location. Could be a building or a place. or a business. Brian.
Nelson Mandela House.
Correct. Nelson Mandela House was the fourth most popular answer with 8% of the votes. Would you like to play or pass?
Let me think about this. Play.
Play,
definitely. Yeah.
It's just more fun to play, isn't it?
It is.
Okay, so there's 6 more answers to get.
Although now I've said that, I can't think of any other fictional.
That is the problem. Well, you get 3 strikes, so hopefully you'll be okay.
Fictional sitcom locations. Wilmington-on-Sea.
Oh, that's the top answer. Yes, well done. 46% of the votes, believe it or not, were for Wilmington-on-Sea.
Excellent.
So a ting for that one. Well done. Just to reiterate, these aren't all just towns. They are, buildings and places. And so have a good think.
Red Dwarf mining ship.
It's good, but it's not the one.
Not the one.
No, 1 strike there for Brian.
Grace Brothers. Grace Brothers department store.
Oh, excellent. Grace Brothers department store was the 5th most popular answer with 6% of the votes.
Oh.
So you've now got 3 out of 7. In fact, I might just make this out of 5 because the last 2 are just impossible. So 3 out of 5, you need 2 more.
What's it called? Maplin's holiday camp.
Maplin's 15% of the vote.
Well done, Brian.
Yay.
Well done, Brian. You've now got 4 out of 5, and you only need 1 more. And I think, have you had a strike yet? I can't remember. You haven't, have you?
Yeah, I have had a strike with Red Dwarf.
Oh God, my Les trousers just don't fit me very well.
Just one leg fell off.
What else is there?
So you've got 1 left that you have to get. Al, start conferring with yourself.
Sunshine Desserts.
Sunshine Desserts? What's that?
It's where he works in Fallen Lies of Reginald Perrin.
Oh, is it? Of course it is. Sorry.
Bit of a desperate.
Well, if it's up there, I'll give you the money myself. I'll give you the chocolate myself.
Fair enough.
It's not. Yeah. But you've got another life to try and get this. So you've got 1 more chance.
Cafe Rene.
That is a good answer, but I'm afraid.
Yeah, it is.
But not.
No. So you got a chance to steal, Al.
Oh, well.
I'm going to go Surbiton.
Surbiton isn't a fictional place, you bellend.
Because it's a real place. In my head, I was thinking, I've got the answer, and it's absolutely a real place. Can I have another go?
Go on. Do you mind having another go, Brian?
No problem at all.
Go on then. I'll let you have another go.
Fawlty Towers.
Ding! Fawlty Towers.
Yay!
Of course. Though.
Yeah, it's what we talk about literally every week at the moment.
Every week. Can you make my previous answer a blooper then, please?
Yes, all right.
I withdraw Surbiton.
Okay, so it's that's good because we've got it delicately poised at 1 round each.
Oh,
tension's high.
Yeah, it is. It is very tense, isn't it, Brian? I'm sure that you. Oh, I haven't eaten a chocolate yet. Well,
well done, you.
And this is a reward for my Les duties. Oh, that's a belter. Lovely Belgian seashells.
Are they seashells?
Nice.
Praline. The problem is, once I put it in my mouth, I can't les up, can I?
It's all right. We have to just wait. Just carry on.
Okay. Final question. Got your buzzers at the ready.
Yes.
Name a British sitcom female character.
Oh,
Alison.
Sybil Fawlty.
That's the bottom answer, but you've just about got in there. 4%, Sybil Fawlty.
Oh.
Would you like to play or pass?
I'll have a go at playing.
Okay, no problem. You've got 8 other ones to get because there was quite a spread in this one. You probably regret it.
Yeah,
so
already.
Get thinking, Brian. You might get a chance to steal. So 8 other options. Al, what do you think?
Peggy from Heidi High.
Ding! Second answer with 18% of the votes.
Wow.
I know. I wouldn't have called that either.
I wouldn't. No.
Hyacinth Bouquet.
Ding! Second to bottom with 4% of the votes, just like Sybil.
Okay.
You're going well.
Um,
I'm glad I'm not having to think of the answers, to be honest.
Mrs. Slocum
Do you know what? No.
and her pussy. No.
I'm going to give it you just because it was a tie between Mrs. Slocum and Miss Brahms in Are You Being
All
Served?
right.
And they were a tie anyway, so I just think I'll let you have that. I didn't put them both in. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
But yes, all right, we'll let you have that. Ding! That was 4% again.
Thanks.
So you're almost halfway through. You're going pretty well.
Margot Ledbetter.
Ding! 9% of the votes. Who could forget Margot?
Betty from...
That's a catchphrase,
some
not a
I know,
woman.
but Betty, some mothers do have them. I know her name's not Betty.
Yeah. That's your first strike, I'm afraid. No Betty is in there.
Okay.
No. You got 4 left to get.
Dare I say another one from one of the TV shows that I've already said?
Yeah, there is a duplicate in there.
Is there?
There's a duplicate, from one of the shows.
Okay.
I'm glad I'm not answering these.
It's hard when you're on the spot, isn't it? Ruth Maddox's character from Heidi High, Gladys Pugh.
Gladys Pugh? No.
Okay.
So you're on 2 strikes and you still need to get 4. So get thinking, Brian.
Oh, Barbara Good.
Ding.
Okay.
12% of the votes for lovely Barbara. Just 3 left. Including the top answer, bear in mind. We haven't got that yet.
I can't get this woman at my head, so I need to say it. Dorian from Birds of a Feather. I know.
All right. Is that because she was in that video I shared the other day?
Yes.
I'm afraid not. That's Dorian. Dorian wasn't featured. She wasn't first to come to mind for anyone at all. Brian, you got a chance to win this round and the entire game. 3 answers to get, including the top answer. We only get 1 shot at it, mate.
Go on, Brian.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, I'm not going to do this, am I? Can I double check? It was the question about female characters from 70s and 80s sitcoms.
I think I just said British sitcoms,
British.
But I will tell you that they are all exclusively from 70s, 80s, or 90s.
Right. So it's not Miranda.
Yeah, no.
Right.
That's a cheeky way of having a little guess, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, but I wanted to check because I thought
no.
That could be somebody that was completely nothing on there. I am really stuck now.
One of them I don't think anyone would ever guess, to be honest.
I'm going to say this one just because I like saying it, but Nurse Gladys and Manuel from Open All Hours.
That's a good guess.
I'm going to give it you. It was actually the 10th of 9, so I hadn't included it, but I'm going to give it you because she got 3% of the votes along with Cassandra de Trotter. So I'm going to give it you. Well done, Brian. You are the winner.
Thank you very much.
And you've put Al to shame.
Well done, Brian. I'm going to ding my
I don't think I was. I was too far down. Thank you.
You weren't far away. I'll let you know the missing answers.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was Nora Batty, Last of the Summer Wine.
Yeah.
Of course.
4% of the votes. Mildred Roper from George and Mildred.
No, I wouldn't have ever.
Weirdly, she got 5% of the votes.
No.
And then the top answer was Miss Jones in Rising Damp.
Right.
34% of the votes.
Did she really? Wowzers.
I think this is heavily influenced by the fact that if someone adds it as a poll option, people just click it rather than it being the first one that they think of.
Yeah.
So it's not the most scientific approach. But there we go.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me eat those chocolates, Brian.
I did. That was great. I'll have to go and find some myself now.
Would you like to nominate something for Series 3? Is it watching?
Yeah, I think it is watching, but I do recognise there's a lot of it.
A lot of difficulties.
Yeah, watching.
Keep us busy for a while, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would do.
Yeah. I'm just disappointed that Brenda from watching isn't on the
she wasn't on the list
of female.
Well, she just disappeared, didn't she, after watching? She just retired straight away.
Did she?
Never did anything else. Emma Ray.
Yeah.
No, she never did anything else again.
No. Oh, well.
At least the talent done well for herself. But...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But do you see the other fella, the guy who played Malcolm? Do you see him in much?
I bet he's in Doctors. I bet he's been in Doctors.
Yeah.
Do you mean he's been poorly? Or?
No, yeah, he's been at my Doctors. No, I think they all turn up eventually in Doctors.
They do.
Don't think he has.
Yeah, he's not worked in anything else.
No, I don't think. Yeah, I quite liked him. He was good for the part. So maybe we'll deep dive that. And we thank you for your nomination and congratulate you again for winning our inaugural individual fortune. I didn't even get a chance to do my Les Dennis, oh, I don't really know impression during that round, which is almost as bad as the impression himself that Les does of maybe some Coronation Street.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Brian. Take it easy. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Ta-ra. So, on that bombshell, Al, having lost yet another quiz.
Still crying.
Should we get stuck into the episode, The Anniversary?
So in this episode, we open up as normal outside of Fawlty Towers in the grounds, and it's the infamous flowery twats.
How did they get away with that?
It gives me so much joy to see it. It really does, because it's like it's in folklore, isn't it now, flowery twats? Is it to do with it not meaning the same thing in the south of the country as it does in the north of England?
Yeah, I did read that. I'm sure we discussed it in our first episode, but I can't remember exactly what it did mean. Somebody will tell us.
Seeing it now, it's quite shocking, isn't it, really?
And it's the only true anagram used in the entire series.
Is that
the
right?
rest of them have got missing letters, but Flowery Twats uses every letter.
Simply saved it. I'm surprised they didn't save it for the last episode as like a going out on a high kind of screw you to the BBC.
Yeah. Do you reckon once they realised what half the country knew that word to mean, there was heads rolling?
I bet there was. I bet they kept it a secret. I bet
Not
nobody knew.
but yeah, somebody somewhere. Who's the director in this series? It's not John Howard Davies.
Bob Spears.
Bob Spires. Yeah.
Spewers.
He might have been wrapped across the knuckles or sent to host a show with Jimmy Savile or something.
Possibly. That's a punishment in itself, isn't it? So we're inside the hotel now. We're in the kitchen, and Polly and the chef are chatting about money. Polly needs some money for the weekend. This is the gist of the conversation.
They're having a good old moan, aren't they?
Yeah. She's desperate. She's already asked for whether it's like an advance or some money from Basil, and it's not been resolved, and she does need this cash. Manuel comes bustling in. He's been to the shops and he's laden down with carrier bags. He's got some paintbrushes for Polly and some change for her. I thought that was quite sweet that he'd been and sort of got a few little bits for her, and he's so lovely, isn't he, Manuel?
Yeah. I'm sure there's a well-rounded character in there somewhere when he's not being bullied by Basil.
I think he's just a good egg.
Can you imagine the spin-off? Manuel, the spin-off.
Just him doing nice things for people and not getting shouted at. I think that's quite a nice programme.
Well, actually, this episode of Fawlty Towers is also the only one that Manuel doesn't say the word "ke" in.
Is that right? No kes. Okay. He's making a paella from his mother's recipe. So he's laden down with bags of probably chorizo and rice and all sorts of bits and pieces. But he is a bit concerned about whether the chef knows that he's making this paella. Obviously, Jacko, the chef, does all the cooking. So Manuel sort of, interrupting his flow in the kitchen. I can't see that going down well. And Sybil then comes into the kitchen and she's visibly annoyed. You can tell that there's something that's got her back up, and she's slamming things around. And apparently, then we find out it's Sybil and Basil's 15th wedding anniversary, and Basil seems to have forgotten, which becomes the gist of the story. Fawlty walks in and he's humming and he's reading the paper. He seems to be quite in a jolly mood, I think.
Yeah, unusually.
He has a back and forth with Polly about not forgetting to put more splits in the bar. What a split? Or have I misheard that?
Banana splits.
I don't know. Putting something in the bar, though. Maybe someone will tell us if I don't know what splits are. And then Sybil says, quite a cutting line, Polly won't forget, hinting that he has perhaps forgotten something, which he obviously has, she thinks. But he hasn't. He hasn't forgotten because he's got a plan. He's a man with a plan this week.
Well, as soon as Sybil walks out, he says, "Do I detect the smell of burning martyr?" to Polly.
Yes. Yeah.
Because he knows exactly what's going on, and he's just winding her up,
Yeah.
pretending he's forgotten.
Would you though?
Is
Would
this-
you do that? It's a dodgy plan from the start, I think.
So, I mean, what this says about the guy is that even when he's being kind and being nice and arranging a surprise party, he's being a prick at the same time.
There's got to be some barb to it, rather than just doing
he's being
doing a nice
cruel
thing. He's been
as
cruel,
well.
yeah. So Manuel's paella that he's making from his mother's recipe is part of the plan, as are the invitation to lots of Sybil's friends who we've never heard about before. And Audrey's not there, but there's an invitation list to friends of Sybil's, which we find out about later.
You think Basil just decided to exclude her?
Possibly. Maybe she's just too much trouble. Polly asks Fawlty then about the money, this money that she was discussing with Jacko at the beginning. She needs this money for a car, and she knows that the car's being held for her, and she needs this cash so that they can get it sorted. But he says that they'll discuss it later. So she's a bit sort of put off by that.
I don't know if it's a power play. Maybe it's a power play, but it might just be he's tight and he just hates parting with money.
I think so.
Some people are like that.
Yeah.
You know, I know my mum used to go to concerts in the 80s and buy tickets. And the people she went with, one or two in particular, they would give her the money for the ticket on the night of the concert, like 6 months later, you know.
Really?
You settle your debt, don't you?
Yeah.
But some people just hate parting with money.
And do it at the last possible minute. I think that's possibly what he's doing. Yeah.
In
the lobby then, we see Miss Tibbs, Miss Gatsby. They're not really sort of fundamental to the story this week, but they're both there, off out, dressed up to the nines with the hats and beads. Sybil is still annoyed at this stage about the forgetting of the anniversary. And he still doesn't tell her that there's a plan. She's visibly sort of ruffled.
Even when she slaps him, he won't, he's guessing like, oh, what have I forgotten? Is it Agincourt or Trafalgar?
Yeah.
Like going through all the battles.
Yom Kippur.
Rather than...
Despite the fact that none of these are on the dates that that it is. So he'll even take a slap in order to make her feel uncomfortable, which is a dick move, that. Terry comes into the reception as he's now heard that Manuel is going to be cooking the paella. And he's a bit miffed as he can cook paella too. He's been to catering school, he says. And so he's quite cross that, Manuel's moved in. But why, as a chef, knowing that somebody from a different country has the ability to make a food of that country, so like it would be a authentic version of this dish, why would you not want to let this person show you how to do it? Why would you have such an ego that you think, as someone from England, that you could do a better version of a paella than Manuel? I'd be really happy to let Manuel show me how to make paella.
I think you put your finger on the button there. He's a bit of an ego, isn't he?
Yeah.
You can see by the way he sort of swans around, he's got that walk, hasn't he?
Yeah. Oi, oi. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it suits the plot.
It does indeed. There's no show if none of this happens. Yes.
There's no conflict. There's no comedy.
Yeah. Manuel looks a bit flustered though, as Fawlty explains to Terry that Manuel's wanted to do this since he's arrived. This is what he wants to cook this paella. I'm surprised that Fawlty's not sort of already used Manuel in this way to be able to put it on like an A-board outside the hotel, like traditional authentic paella.
Yeah, true. But he's trying to do something nice for Manuel, which isn't the side of Basil that you see very often.
Yeah.
I know nothing.
Sybil's got a coat on now, and Manuel sees her go. He sees her leave the hotel while Fawlty and Terry are talking in the lobby.
We very rarely see that reverse angle when
Yes.
Sybil comes out of the office and you see Manuel sort of flustered going,
Yeah.
What?
He doesn't know what to do, does he? He knows that he needs to say something, or else he can obviously see this unfolding in front of him. And Manuel explains that Sybil's gone. Fawlty chases after her out of the hotel to try and explain that I have remembered the anniversary, but she gets in the car and she drives off. And then he stood on sort of like the driveway into the car park and he's hopping mad and he's pummeling the floor, having one of his faulty breakdowns as another car pulls into the car park.
Yeah.
So you could almost see this happening, couldn't you? That he'd get caught having a tantrum in the car park.
Yeah, well, the guy swerves to go round him and he pretends he's just smoothing out a pothole or something, doesn't he?
Inspecting the tarmac, yeah, or something along those lines. In the reception, though, the people that were in the car come into the hotel and we find out that these are friends of Sybil's that Fawlty's invited along to this anniversary party. And he calls, it made me feel uncomfortable. He calls Fawlty Baz.
Oh, it's horrible, isn't it? He's so not a Baz.
I'm clutching my neck at the thought of it. It made me feel so uncomfortable.
He was written as a deliberately obnoxious character, I think. Or maybe not obnoxious, but just a prat.
Yeah, I quite liked him though. I quite liked him for the fact of how difficult he made it for Basil. He
was just having fun.
He was
at Basil's expense.
Yes,
all the way through.
Which Basil doesn't like that, and he's not used to it. He doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, we all know those people who just basically act like dicks.
Yes.
To make you uncomfortable.
Yes.
And they can be in your friend group, but they're just a bit of a pain.
He's one of them.
Hmm.
Hi, Baz. These are the friends that they've been waiting for the party. Obviously, Sybil's now gone because they're unaware that Sybil's not there. So Polly suggests out loud that Sybil is ill, and that's why she's not actually at the hotel.
Yeah.
So from the get-go, Polly is in on this.
Trying to help Basil as usual.
Yes, but with hindsight, this is only going to make the problem worse, as usual. So Sybil's ill, she's not there. And the couple that have arrived are actually, it's Una Stubbs.
Yeah, Una Stubbs.
Una Stubbs as Alice and Ken Campbell as Roger. So Roger is the guy that calls Basil Baz, and he makes a joke on the fact that Sybil's not well. So Sib ill, he calls her Sib. So yeah, it's a...
And he says Baswell.
Baswell.
That doesn't work quite as well, does it?
Sybil, oh...
Yeah, but I think Una Stubbs wants to go up to see Sybil.
She does.
And Basil does that old trick about, a bit of shrapnel.
Oh, he pulls the fake wartime leg injury thing, doesn't he?
Shrapnel klaxon.
He drags her through the bar, but she goes behind the reception to call Sybil on the phone upstairs. But then Fawlty says that she's lost her voice, so she can't obviously speak on the phone.
I know. Oh, I know.
They're now heading to the bar. And Fawlty gets Alice and Roger a drink and some nuts. And Roger sort of sneakily whispers to Alice that he thinks that they've had a row.
Yeah.
And that's why she doesn't want to come down. But Fawlty says that the doctor's will be there that afternoon to check her out because she's not well. So he's laying it on thick and just digging the hole even deeper by adding all sorts
as he always does,
other characters into this made-up story.
I liked it though when he was trying to distract them.
Yes.
From talking about Sybil, and he says, "Well, cheers," and Roger says, "Up yours, Basil."
Polly then adds to the story by suggesting that the doctor has already said that she's going to be in bed for a couple of days, Sybil. So in the bid to sort of keep them away from the idea that Sybil's upstairs, she's introduced the idea of the doctor, and Fawlty says that, well, they don't know that yet because the doctor's not been, and there's lots of like nodding and eye rolling and winking, and it all gets very uncomfortable. Fawlty says that Polly's just confused, and it wasn't the doctor that was there, it was a dentist who was stopping at the hotel.
Yeah, it's just getting more and more convoluted, and obviously I think it's just designed to show that the guests undermine Basil's explanation to the extent that the guests are completely suspicious.
Yes. Yeah.
To stick that in there so you can see why none of them would believe this sort of cock and bull story.
Absolutely. We have the next couple arrive, and the lady has brought a cake in a biscuit tin that she's baked for the anniversary. I thought it was going to be a sewing box or a box of buttons that she brought, because that's the only time you ever see those biscuit tins.
That's true.
Full of cotton reels.
Maybe in your world.
In my world,
you
yeah.
aren't seamstress.
I'm always disappointed though when I open it up and it's bobbins and cotton. I always think, wow, where's the biscuits? I want some biscuits.
Yeah. It's like when you get a tin of roses and it's not a fruitcake.
Oh. So Basil explains to this couple again that Sybil's not well. And the woman from the couple says that she'll take up a slice of cake to try and sort of cheer her up and make her feel well. But Fawlty tries again to put them off. But this woman's very insistent, I find, throughout this episode.
She was,
She's she'll get where water can't, this woman.
Well, she's a nurse, it transpires.
She's a nurse, and she says, has the doctor not been? To which Roger, from the previous couple, says, no, but the dentist has had a good look, which I thought was quite funny.
You also get this thing where Polly thinks that Basil's trying to hint at her that the problem is with Sybil's thighs, but it's actually Sybil's eyes.
So she's they explain that she's all puffy, that her legs are puffed up, and
Basil then inspects Polly's legs. Are they?
Oh
no, not Polly.
Manuel at this stage, just as an aside, he's getting a bit sort of flustered now because the chef is messing with his pots in the kitchen. I'm guessing he's got his stock pot on for his paella, and Jacko just keeps faffing about with the pots, and it's upsetting Manuel. Manuel at this stage as well is in like a full chef's whites and a chef's hat, which I thought was quite cute.
Very seriously.
Yes, he is. He obviously takes the making of paella very seriously.
I like the fact that this second lady who's arrived for the dinner party, what's her name? Kitty, is it?
Kitty, I think it is Kitty.
She's insistent on going upstairs to see Sybil.
Yes.
And Basil's irritation comes out all at once, and he says, "Well, she's ill, isn't she? What's the bloody point of looking at her?" And this is because he's forgotten that she is a nurse.
Yes. We have another couple turn up now. This is the third couple to the party. And they say that they've seen Sybil in town in her car in the high street. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, yeah.
Fawlty thinks on his feet very quickly and comes up with the idea that it's someone that looks like her that lives in Torquay. They've seen this woman before. She's always out.
Northern woman.
Yeah, she's a northern woman. And Kitty the nurse then again begins to sort of, push for more details. Oh, you've spoken to her. What's her name? So Fawlty gets very flustered at the fact that they don't just take it as, they don't take what he's saying as read. They want more detail constantly. So it's faffing with his lies.
Perhaps he can get away with it with the guests more than he can with his own circle of friends, who are probably more Sybil's friends than his anyway.
Yeah. They're not, maybe they're used to his nonsense, and that's why they don't believe him.
Yeah, well, because they won't believe him, he loses his shit, doesn't he? He says, "Well, I'm sorry if you've been put out. I mean, you've had some drinks and nuts and seen some old friends and had some laughs, but if that's not enough for you, I'll refund your petrol."
Yeah.
But they're so suspicious about it. The guy with the comb over, Roger.
Yeah.
Terrible comb over, and he's the one who's making sort of like really passive aggressive, sarcastic lines.
Yeah.
So Basil says, "Oh well, you must come and see her then."
Yeah. He sort of changed his tune. Is it like reverse psychology to sort of like put them off? Well, if you want to come upstairs and see her,
I assume so.
Almost so they go, no, it's fine. No, if she's not well, don't worry about it. At this stage though, it does backfire because they all end up going upstairs to check on Sybil.
Yeah. One of the guests actually says, "Oh, hang on, old man," which again is one of those phrases that you don't hear.
Yeah, like a what?
"Oh, come on, old man."
Yes.
Maybe Boris Johnson and his chums still say that, but I've never heard anyone in real life say, "Oh, come on, old man."
Good morning, Major. Very well, thank you.
Fawlty comes up with a plan at this stage, and the plan is to get Polly to play the part of Sybil in bed, so that when they go in to see her, she can just sort of like feign a lot of illness, and they'll be happy. They'll believe Fawlty, and then they'll come away, and he doesn't need to worry about the fact that Sybil's not in the actual hotel.
Yeah, but consent isn't top of Basil's mind at this point, is it? Because he's literally cajoling this poor woman, and he's literally picking her up and carrying her up the stairs, telling her she'll be doing it.
Yeah, he says, he threatens her and says, "You'll never waitress in Torquay again." Oh well, never mind.
But she says, "Why don't you do it?" And he says, "Well, I've got a moustache. What is this supposed to be? A big hairy bogey?"
It isn't going to work.
What's the matter? What's the matter?
I'm not doing it. You want to be in a Marx Brothers film, that's your problem. I'm not interested.
Not interested?
No.
This is all your fault.
My fault?
You said to say she was ill.
You were the one who invited them to come up here. They didn't even want to. You be Sybil. You get into the bed.
I'm too big. I've got a moustache. What's this supposed to be? A great big hairy bogey?
It's something you get when you're puffed up.
I'll ruin you. You'll never waitress in Torquay again.
They barter, and she says that she wants this £100 for the car, and this is how she has him over a barrel in the end to get the money out of him, because she'll do it for this money.
I like Polly because she sticks up for herself, doesn't
Yes.
she? She points out that waitress, I do everything. I'm at reception and I'm cleaning the rooms, basically pointing out that they need her far more than she needs them.
Absolutely. At this stage as well, Manuel is angry with the chef, with Jacko the chef, and they're falling out over this paella. But as he comes to sort of speak to Fawlty about it, Fawlty sends Manuel to go and tell the chef, go and tell him. But then he tells him to go away. And the guests that are on their way upstairs think that he means them. So they get all flustered and start to go, right, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, no, not you.
When Manuel's complaining about Terry the chef,
Mm.
he says, and I rewound this twice and I still don't know what he said. It sounds to me like, and it can't be, but it sounds to me like he called me ignorant, rude, mother's boy, and it can't be that. I don't know what the last word was, but it sounded so like
Right.
So
Jacko?
No, this is Manuel.
I know.
Talking about what?
Yeah, but Jacko. Oh, right. But Jacko wouldn't call him that, would he?
Well, no. Plus, you wouldn't broadcast it in 1979.
No, that's absolutely true. Although they got twat in there right at the
That's
beginning.
true.
Just throwing them all in. Fanny.
Minge. Twat. Fadge. Actually, fadge is an Irish dish. They could have had O'Reilly come round to make some.
That's what, yeah. I bet Jacko wouldn't have liked that either.
No, beef curtains could have been all in there.
Entrees.
He tell me you tell him. I tell him paella is a Spanish, not Cockney stinking eel pie. Right. I make the paella like my mama. I'm not interested. My mother's recipe is big in Barcelona. Go away. No, please, you come. He call me ignorant, wog, mother boy, crump.
Anyway, so they're all lined up now, the guests, to sort of pop in and to see Sybil. The lady in the black with the flowery dress, Kitty, she's desperate again for more information. Fawltys says that Sybil was saying thank you to them for all for coming. And the lady says, oh, so she can speak a little then. So she doesn't forget anything, this woman.
She knows what Basil is, I think.
Yes, I think she's got his number, hasn't she?
He spills the nuts and Roger's making his shit jokes about Basil brush.
Yes.
He's going to get a brush. Broom.
I'm sorry, I've just realised that the lady with the black flowery dress isn't Kitty. She's the third female from the third couple. It's Virginia. Virginia is the lady with the black dress and with the flowers on.
Of course, because Basil says, oh, all this time I've known Virginia, and she thinks I've forgotten that she's a nurse.
Yeah.
Oops.
This happens a lot. So you know what? Yeah, well, I'm sorry about that.
That's what it said in one of our reviews. The lack of knowledge of the 70s gets trying sometimes.
It does indeed. Thanks for sticking with us, those who don't mind us making the odd mistake.
Sorry.
At this stage, Eunice Stubbs wants an ashtray. So this is where it gets a bit frenetic of running up and downstairs. So Basil runs down to get a ashtray and he goes into the bar and has a big swig from something behind the bar because he's obviously off his head at this stage and doesn't know what to do because the hole that he's dug is enormous at this stage. Manuel disturbs him and he pours the bottle all over himself. Manuel's panicking now because the chef's put mince in the paella, which I'm guessing has been done out of spite, not out of paella making expertise, because mince doesn't go in a...
Have mince,
you don't put mince in a paella. The guests are still waiting. Basil comes back with the ashtray and some nuts, and then the nuts fall all over the floor. And Eunice Stubbs starts to pick them all up. Basil says, I'll go and get a brush, and then goes down to, this is where we get the Basil brush. Boom, broom, 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 broom. That's what Roger says.
He also says, weirdly, Basil's like, does anybody else need anything? And he went, I wouldn't mind a chuck ice. It's a bit fucking random request, isn't it?
Does he feel like he's at the cinema or something? Because it's just all playing out as like a massive, long, ridiculous story.
I think you can see that Roger's getting on Basil's nerves because he says, you read a lot of Oscar Wilde, do you, Rog? Basically saying that you're witless.
Yes. The Major is now on the landing with the guests at this stage. And there's another confusing conversation about where Sybil is. Fawltys says, she's ready for you now. They've managed to sort out Polly and, get her ready. And the Major tries to go in as well. And Basil says, no, not you.
I love that. He just spins him round on the spot. Does he? Not you.
No, God. Can you imagine? If he'd been part of that as well? So the guests are ushered into the room that Sybil, in inverted commas, is in. And the guests all bid her hello. They're all sort of happy to see her. The lights are off and there's lots of crashing and banging in the dark.
They're all falling over each other.
Yeah. But Polly is propped up in bed with a screen around her, and she's got one of Sybil's wigs on and dark glasses, and she's got things tucked into sort of underneath a jaw. So she looks very puffy and very swollen, and they ask her how she's feeling. She looks rough.
But weirdly, I know that the things in her mouth were to make her cheeks look wider.
Yeah.
Because she's supposed to be ill. But obviously, Prue Scales' face is more round
Yes.
than Connie Booth's face. So
Yeah,
along with the wig and the sunglasses, I thought it was actually quite convincing.
it was very convincing. It was. I had to look twice. I couldn't see Polly in there at all.
Just the nose, I think.
Right,
yeah.
okay.
But it would, in a darkened room, yeah, it could have
It
fooled.
could have fooled you.
Yeah. Not the rest of the shenanigans. The rest of it was bullshit. But that visual maybe could have fooled me.
As with no sort of real confirmation on what's actually wrong with her. So it could have been anything. Yeah. I think she did look a bit Sybil-esque. So they brought a cake and they wish him happy anniversary and happy to see her. Basil then makes the mistake of looking out the window and sees Sybil pulling up in the car outside. He runs downstairs, obviously, because he needs to sort of like head her off.
Yeah.
And he greets her in the lobby. She says that she's not stopping. And she says, you don't even want me to stop, do you? And she slaps him again.
Oh, it's so sad because she clearly, it's a really sad scene because she's vulnerable and she really wants Basil to fight for her. You don't see this dynamic at play very much.
Nope.
And she's really sad and she's like, I think I best go. I think that's for the best, don't you, Basil? And he just wants her to go, so she's out the way to cover his arse.
Cover his arse,
with the friends. But she's really sad and I don't know, it was just a different sort of scene for Fawlty Towers, for the dynamic between those two characters in their marriage. I think it's possibly the only time you see affection.
Yeah, from her.
Towards Basil from Sybil, yeah. She wants him to fight for her.
He just says, cheerio, drive carefully.
Yeah.
In other words, if she stops, then this whole sort of house of cards comes tumbling down, doesn't it?
She's a fine woman, Mrs. Fawlty.
No, I wouldn't say that.
No lie.
Upstairs again, the guests, they bid fake Sybil farewell. And the nurse is interfering again. Virginia, she's there trying to feel Sybil's glands.
She gets it slapped, doesn't she?
Yeah, Polly's trying to stop her and hits her. Basil tries to get them all out of the bedroom. And Sybil's in the car now downstairs with a friend. Do you think, is this Audrey? Is there any mention of who?
This is Audrey, yeah.
Audrey.
Yeah.
So she's crying because obviously Basil's let her down on their 15th wedding anniversary. And then Audrey says, did you get your clubs? Because obviously they're going to go and play golf. And she's like, oh, no. So she goes back in. The guests are now downstairs in the lobby. Sybil walks in to get her clubs and the guests are all there. They're all there. And Basil tries to make out that this is the lookalike, the northern lookalike from town.
Yeah. And the weird way she acquiesces to this, she doesn't just say, what are you talking about, Basil? She allows him to take her by the hand, walk her through the war zone of the kitchen where Terry and Manuel are like rolling around on the floor, straight into a cupboard and lock her in a cupboard.
Locks her in a cupboard. Why did she go along with this? Do you think she realised? Do you think the penny dropped with her what the plan was, and he just sort of got himself into a tiz, and she knows him that well that she just assumes that this is all gone to shit and I best just get in this cupboard.
Who knows? It's just the way she acquiesced to walk into the cupboard was just like, what?
Polly walks in and Basil nods to the guests who are now leaving and says, piece of cake. As if like, I've solved that problem. They didn't have a clue. Piece of cake. And then he says...
And Roger's like, I had a great time.
God, don't get out much, Roger, do you? And then he says, now comes the tricky bit as he heads into the kitchen and he's got to face Sybil, who's still locked in the fridge / maybe it's a sausage cupboard. Is that where they put the sausages, the meat overnight?
Must be, yeah. Must be where Dr. Sausages gets his sausages from, yeah.
And that's where it ends.
Weird point to end it, though.
Yeah. I wanted to find out what happened. I wanted to see the next bit of fallout between Sybil and Basil.
Yeah, exactly. When he let her out the cupboard. You can envisage this in a lot of classic sitcoms. That what happened next would have been entertaining.
Yes.
But they're working to a 30-minute framework, so
it's got to end there. I feel like I've been like cheated though. I feel like I've missed out on a neat bow at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's the sort of thing that would have been nice for John Cleese to have included in the stage show.
Yeah.
Like some of the post crescendo fallout.
Yeah, the what happens next. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think of this episode?
It's not my favourite, but it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
There's elements of it that are very good. I noticed Polly slapped someone again. We should have kept a slap count for
tab,
Polly.
yes.
She actually throws the hands around quite a lot, that woman.
Yeah.
She slaps Basil, I'm sure, at one point.
Yeah.
She slaps that woman in The Kipper and the Corpse last week,
Yes.
Miss Tibbs.
Yeah.
I think she might slap Manuel in one episode.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't like any slapping a Manuel.
But no, I did enjoy it. The war in the kitchen was a little bit mad.
Yeah.
At the end, the fact that they're rolling around on the floor, I would certainly fancy Jacko in that contest. Maybe a Spaniard scorned is a thing to behold.
Yeah. I'm still flabbergasted that an English chef would think that they could make a paella any better than a Madrillian? Someone from Madrid?
Barcelona, and he's Catalan.
Barcelonian, yeah, Madrillion.
I am from Madrid. No, you're not.
No, that's Franco, isn't it? I'm
bit.
thinking of Franco, yeah.
In Madrid. Did you spot any bric-a-brac?
My pick for this week was the screen that they put up in the bedroom, like a room divider. So rather than having two separate rooms, or you sort of like portion off a bit of a room with a room divider that like bends into three. And I think you saw them quite a lot in like the 70s. They often appeared with like you could throw your clothes, you could get change behind it and throw your clothes over in a sexy way.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, you don't see them as much. You do see them, but just not.
I think
as
you
much,
see them sort of in retro now. You like it's like a retro piece of furniture now. So probably around then it was like a normal thing to have in your house.
Over here, I think you see them a lot in restaurants to delineate the reception area or the takeaway area.
Yes. Yeah, usually made out of like woven like bamboo or that. It's like a bamboo frame with like woven things over it to just
exactly
just put it up in a room.
But they were probably more commonplace in the 70s.
I think so. What about yourself? Did you pick anything?
I don't know what his name is, but Kitty's fella, the one who called Basil old man.
Yeah.
Not his face. No, not
Why?
like Mrs. Hall's face. The fact that he had a pipe. And I just thought, you don't see pipe smoking anymore, do you really? I've got a friend who smokes a pipe back in Britain. But when I think back over my entire life, well, maybe as a kid, some old uncles, maybe.
Yeah.
But I can't really think of many people I know who smoke a pipe. It was quite funny, actually. My friend Malk, who smokes a pipe, he goes to all the Everton games. And obviously you can't smoke at the football ground these days. And the steward told him to put it out. So he took it out of his mouth and he said, no, put it out. He said, it is out.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, how do you put out a pipe that you're having to stand
your
up around with this guy?
finger
That is, if it's not in your mouth, that's it.
Yeah.
I think he wanted him to douse it in water or something.
Dip it in a bucket or something. Yeah. I've got we had an uncle that smoked a pipe, and it's such a you don't smell the smell of a pipe anywhere anymore.
But it's far more pleasant, isn't it, than generic nicotine?
Yeah. The picture of the smell in my head, if that makes sense, I can still smell it every so often.
I had a pipe when I was in The Hobbit as a extra.
Yes.
When I was the barman in the Green Dragon in the Hobbit movie. But it was a long, thin pipe.
Yes.
With a tiny little end. And I was sort of giving it the old at the end of it. But it wasn't a light. They added the smoke rings. Well, I think the plan was to add the smoke rings later. But as it happened, the millisecond that I'm in the film, it's just in my hand anyway. So there was no real need.
Yeah.
I was looking at Gandalf's fireworks. Yeah. So pipes are not something you see a lot of now.
No.
We've got a bunch of guests here that you can analyse the sartorial stylings of. Al, should we have a trip to Fashion Corner?
Yes, I'll give it a go.
Well, it's time to take a little trip to the place that long ago was hip. It's Fashion Corner, it's Fashion Corner, it's Fashion Corner, Fashion Corner. Oh.
My first hot pick in Fashion Corner this week is Miss Tibbs and Miss Gatsby. They're both dressed up to the nines. I think I mentioned it earlier that they're both dressed up to the nines. They look like they might be just going shopping, but they're both in like dress suits. Miss Gatsby is in like a pale pink suit with a striped pattern detail, buttoned down the front with a maroon hat and a feather. Maybe, I don't know what, I think maybe they're going out for like afternoon tea or something, because they both look very fetching.
They're going out Peckham Market to get some fruit and veg, aren't they?
They are. That's where they're going.
Chow Doughboy.
Miss Tibbs in a similarly styled suit. It's navy with a floral detail and a pale pink hat with a pink flower in it. They're both adorned with necklaces and beads, and they both have a handbag as well. But they've got a hanky in the handbags. Kitty, the real Kitty, not the fake Virginia Kitty, was in like a red and white sailor style blouse with red piping and again a neckerchief that was built into the blouse. She looked quite sweet, her outfit. Sybil, before she disappears off, is in an ivory blouse with an almond coloured spot detail. I thought it was really cute, this blouse that she had on. The blouse had, as we've seen in many episodes and many of the clothes that Sybil has, it's got like a necktie that's like part of the actual blouse, with the gold brooch, and the spots, the almond spots that are in the blouse are also the colour of the skirt as well. So she's always like nicely coordinated, is Sybil. Una Stubbs.
Hey.
When she arrives, she looks fab. She's wearing a white skirt suit with like very sort of like dainty pink flowers, with pink rick-rack piping, which is like the like zigzaggy piping that was very sort of familiar in the 70s, is along the edges of the collar, and it buttons down the front. She's got a teeny tiny little waist, very delicate is Una Stubbs, with bright cornflower blue eyeshadow that matches nothing, which I think that was, de rigueur in the 70s. Roger, with his strange, hugely massive comb over that he had, he's in like a beige green sports jacket with a striped shirt with an enormous collar and a cravat.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've seen a cravat. Basil had one on in one episode, didn't he?
Yeah, and biscuit coloured trousers.
We used to get them every week with Jerry.
We did. I've missed that. I've missed the cravattage, and it was nice to see a cravat back. But like, I don't know who's dressed Roger, because the combination of his clothes, nothing is coordinated, nothing matches. The jacket, the shirt, the cravat, and the trousers, nothing is coordinated. So he looks like a bit of a bundle of washing. I'm not down with Roger's wardrobe there.
I'm not down with Roger at all, to be honest. He's the sort of guy you wouldn't want to know, isn't he?
Virginia / thought she was called Kitty has a black floral full dress with a wide collar. This dress, I'm sure I've got a picture somewhere of my mum in a similar dress when she was like heavily pregnant with me.
All right. Because
my mum she had to have steroids. She had to have steroids when she was pregnant with me, so it did get quite big during her pregnancy. And I've only got one picture of her while she was pregnant in this like sort of like billowing black and floral dress. So it did make me sort of make that connection in my head, which was quite sweet.
Yeah.
I did mention earlier about Manuel in his full chef's whites and his chef's hat, the archetypal chef hat. He obviously took it very seriously, his role of being chief paella maker for the evening. And I feel like I feel really sad for the character of Manuel in this episode, because I feel like he's had that sort of role taken away from him and belittled.
I think when he's upset, your heart goes out to him because he's such a nice little man, isn't he?
Yeah.
The time when the other chef was interfering with him.
Yeah.
And he was upset and Basil was ignoring him. You're just like, oh, you just want to give Manuel a cuddle, don't you?
Yes. You just want to make sure he's okay, don't you, Manuel?
We didn't mention during the thing, but when Roger was making his shit jokes about Sybil and Manuel joined in, he went, Manuel! He must have been made up with himself because he got a British pun.
Oh, bless him.
So next week is the final episode of Fawlty Towers that was made, and the final episode of this series of SADDO.
Yes, indeed.
It's series 2, episode 6, Basil the Rat, where Manuel has a pet rat that he thinks is a guinea pig, but really isn't a guinea pig, and he calls it Basil, which is funny. So that'll be the last one we deep dive, so we really do need the suggestions. Brian earlier gave us Watching, which, although we've not discussed it, as it was only about 40 minutes ago, I do think is probably a bit too much to bite off and chew. 9 series of Watching.
It's a lot, yeah. That's a long slog, that, isn't it?
But Reggie Perrin's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
Now's really the time. Send them to us, and then we'll put a poll together quite imminently. So make sure you're on the email list or in the Facebook group. We'll see you for that one next week. See you next time.
Tra.
The Crankies were always involved in swinging parties and shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to be cruel or anything, but can you imagine being at a swingers party and then you put your hand in the bowl and you bring out fucking Ian Cranky's keys and you're like, she's there in a fucking schoolboy outfit, winking at you.
Oh,
fucking hell.
No. That was a strange setup altogether, though, that, weren't it? The fact that that's his wife and she plays a schoolboy.
When I was a kid, I used to think that Ian Cranky. Ian, it is Ian, eh?
Yeah, and Jeanette.
I didn't know if I'd imagined that it was Ian because I used to genuinely think that Ian St. John from St. Ingredes and Ian Cranky were the same person.
The same person. Do you know what? I can understand that.
They did look similar, eh?
Yeah, they did. They did.
But I never used to get mixed up between Jeanette Cranky and Greasy.
That's just a step too far, isn't it? Oh,